debate between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama taking place there on Long Island in New York State. Here in the studio to talk us through how both candidates did, we've got Craig Peters from the Quartz the Atlantic Group and also our very own International Affairs editor, Doug Herbert, both listening avidly to all of that. Now, gentlemen, right at the end, Barack Obama did something that he didn't manage to do in the first debate. He brought up the 47% remark that Mitt Romney made, where he said that 47% of Americans believe that they're victims. Overall, did Barack Obama perform more strongly this time for you, Craig Peters?
To me, they had equal strengths. Debates are about style. People remember the style, not the substance. They were both stylistically good this time. They looked good. They sounded good. I thought what you just pointed out, I thought for me was the highlight of the debate, that Obama had the last word. He got to mention that 47% figure, which is going to continue to haunt the Romney campaign. I thought, for me, that was the highlight.
Yeah.
And Romney had obviously anticipated it, you know, with his constant repetition of "I care about 100% of the American people." That has become sort of the cookie cutter, the standard retort of the campaign ever since they acknowledged, ever since Mitt Romney came out and essentially said, "I was completely wrong, I was mistaken in saying 47%," and he, so to speak, corrected the record. My overall impression was that, you know, there had been a lot of talk and spin going into this debate that essentially all Obama had to do, given the perception and his own perception at that he really bungled the first debate. All he really had to do was bring a pulse to this debate, and he would be at least perceived as holding his own, if not outright winning the debate. And I think that regardless of where you stand, which side you stand, it would be hard to argue that he was less animated in this debate than the first one. He definitely, the candidates came out punching, and it wasn't just, it was also the physical body language. There were moments when both candidates were on their feet at the same time, standing up, almost circling each other. There was a language at one point when the moderator, Canty Crowley, actually had to ask Mitt Romney to please sit down, Governor.
It's quite a difficult balance to strike, really, isn't it? Because, like you say, there was outright bickering at certain points about how much time one had over the other. But obviously, like you say, they did both still have to show that they were coming out fighting. Do you think, Craig Peters, that they struck the right balance, that they'll have struck a chord with ordinary Americans? Or will Americans look at this and think, you know, what's going on? Why are you bickering like this?
I think debate fatigue and election fatigue are starting to set in, actually. I think this debate, for me, convinced me of that. If you're out of work in the United States right now and you were from the middle class, it seems to me that you are more likely to vote for Mitt Romney. All the numbers they throw out, all the fact-checking that's done by both sides, in the end is rather meaningless. What I'm no fan of either guy. I try to give I'm an equal opportunity critic. I saw Obama tonight having lost his inspirational fire. He seemed
this
like
certainly wasn't the same Obama that we saw 4 years ago, was it?
No, it's not. It was like, it was almost like Captain Kirk on Star Trek. Oh, we have to do yet another movie. Oh, I have to go out and do this again.
There was the sense of, you could almost see the preparation behind the scenes. You could see that a highly coached man who had been given his marching orders going out into this debate by all of the King's horses and all the King's men, saying, "Mr. President, if you don't go on the offensive tonight, if you're not out there swinging at every single punch, you are basically, you can go down in this." And you did see that there was a sense of sort of constraint and an exercise that he wasn't relishing, to say the least.
And it's interesting. This may be too inside American politics for our viewers, but this is something really important. Bill Clinton was always on the jazz. Bill Clinton never had a stretch to own a room or get people interested. Obama is incapable of doing that.
Which he certainly wasn't 4 years ago.
Right, and now they're bringing Clinton out tomorrow in Ohio. Clinton is a very big part of this campaign. There is a push by Obama's managers to try and cast Obama as Bill Clinton. Well, to steal a line, I know Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama is no Bill Clinton.
He did cite Bill Clinton at one point, though, which was quite notable. Just a word then about the voters. The questions were actually put to the two candidates by undecided voters. He made up this audience there. That was who was in the auditorium. Lots of undecided voters out in the wider world as well. Will it have changed anything for them?
Well, no. First of all, on the voters themselves, I mean, probably a lot of the questions that were asked tonight were the principal questions that were probably on the minds of a lot of the voters. And obviously, the first question tonight was about the economy. Yeah. Was from the young man who was wondering if he'd have a job, and you could argue that maybe he was the biggest winner of the night because he'll almost be guaranteed a job in 2 years, according to both of these candidates, regardless of who wins. But you had a lot of these sort of stock themes coming. Energy, obviously, and Libya obviously made a guest appearance, more than that, a cameo, 78 minutes into the debate, and quite an encounter it sparked there.
Yeah, certainly a lot of ground covered, a lot of different topics. Thank you both very much, Doug Herbert and Craig Peters, for being with us for our debate coverage here on France 24. We're going to wrap it up for the time being, but we're back in around 15 minutes' time with our next news bulletin. Don't go away.